Welcome to Finish First Financially. Goran Radanovic here. I've got a question from Reddit that I'm going to read. I'll give my take on it. It's obviously not financial investment advice. It says cashing out 401k due to layoff and insane job market. 47 male was laid off in July of last year after the company that I helped build from 300 to 2,300 employees over 7 years sold to an investment firm. I was lucky to own some stock which all paid out, but plus my severance. I've been living off of that for the past 10 months after drastically changing lifestyle and cutting expenses wherever I can. Unemployment ran out in January of this year and I'm not eligible again until July. I'm down to roughly 15,000 in the bank. Wife is disabled, doesn't work, 2 kids. I've been doing some consulting for a company in New York, but the work is sporadic. So even though the hourly rate is decent, it's barely enough to keep the lights on. I probably don't need to tell anyone here what the job market is like these days, but I've never seen anything like it. I was always a desired worker, senior manager, almost direct in IT, and never before went more than a few weeks between jobs. At this point, I need to look at cashing out my 401k, which is around $60,000. I know that's a low number, but it's what I have. I just need to keep food on the table and pay the bills every month. If I cut things down even more, I estimate it should last me another 9 months. I can't borrow again since I'm not actively employed. Question is, how much do I need to set aside for taxes and penalties? I have an ally account that I keep the bulk of my resources in to accrue interest, and I transfer out of my household account as needed when the balance goes below 500. Thanks for any advice. This is an issue that's been happening probably for the last 2 years, where hundreds of thousands of people have been laid off from major companies, Google, Amazon, Facebook. And I feel that this is a trend that's going to continue for some time. It could get even worse. So in this, I feel that I really need to address this because it could happen to anybody. And there's a few things. I know he's asking about taxes and penalties. I think there's another issue that needs to be addressed here. And cashing out of 401k is absolutely the last thing that I would do, because I want to set myself up for retirement, and I don't want to be touching that unless I've really explored all avenues and push has now come to shove and I really need to. But I don't feel that that's the case in this situation. And the reason that I say that is, when we try to re-enter the labor market after being laid off, or we lost our jobs, however it was, we always want to go back to the positions where we were at before. And that's completely normal, because that's where our experience lies. Maybe that's where our passion lies, and we've got certain expenses that we need to meet. So from that perspective, I understand that. And that's the goal that you should be striving towards at the very least. But in the interim, while you're busy looking for that job to replace, you can take on any jobs in the meantime. Just as long as you are working, as long as you are receiving some kind of money and you feel productive, and there's always a possibility once you're in the workforce that you're going to meet someone who could help you, maybe in another industry or even in the industry that you're looking to get back into. But your chances of meeting that person are much greater if you're out there, if you're speaking to people while you're busy working and you're getting paid, you're getting now experience in a new industry. Even if the salary is lower than what you're accustomed to, just as long as you keep receiving some kind of income, a couple of $1,000s is going to help. It's much better than not getting anything and having to rely on your savings. And another reason why I wouldn't tap into this 401k or any savings for that matter is because it almost becomes like a cushion to relax and wait to find that position that you lost, that you previously lost. And that's why, when you can't tap into that savings account, then you're more inclined to go find work, whatever it is. And that's where I really feel that people's mindsets needs to be at. It's only part-time. I mean, it's that the situation is temporary. You're not going to stay at that job forever. You're only going to be there until you replace your income, the position where you were at before. And the reason people don't do that is because they feel that some jobs are below them. They feel that their ego is going to be bruised. What if somebody sees me who I know? What if my family finds out, I was in IT, now I'm in retail sales or whatever. This is not me. Just look at it from the perspective of, I need to look after my family. This is only for the time being. I'm going to eventually get back to where I was. But while I'm searching for that position that I really want, I need to start having some income. I need to be working. I need to be out there with people. And this happened to me. I'm speaking from experience. I know what that's like. About 2 years ago, I was working full-time as a freelance writer, making a full-time living, good living from it, had several clients. Then all of a sudden, AI came into play, lost so many clients. And the job boards where I was getting work from, before AI, it was like 7 or 8 posts every single day. Then it became, after AI, 7 or 8 posts a week, then 7 or 8 posts a month. So and I had to pretty much, decide, am I going to try and carry on, find work where it's very sporadic, or am I actually going to go into something in the meantime? And then I started doing jobs like Uber. I did worked for a ventilation company. It was at night. It was a very dirty job. And then I even worked for a vending machine company, which actually led me to open up my own vending machine business. I set up my own machines at locations, and that business actually did well, and I sold that business. So you never know where it's going to take you, these new positions. But the point is that you have to get out there and you have to start receiving money, even if it's a couple of thousand, even if it's not in the field that you used to, even though your ego is going to take a hit and you might feel embarrassed. You suck it up for the sake of providing for your family and for ensuring that you have a better future by not tapping into that savings, not tapping into the 401k. You leave it alone and you try and get as much money as possible from all these other, even part-time jobs. Maybe you have 2 or 3 part-time jobs to make up for that one full-time job that you lost, until you replace the job that you lost. Remember, this is only temporary. It's not forever, but you need to get back out there into the workforce to start earning, to start talking to people. That is extremely important. Now, if you want to learn about how to reduce your expenses, how to pay off your debt as quickly as possible, and the importance of multiple streams of income, you can check out my book, From Homeless to Debtless with Savings. I'll put a link in the description below, and I wish you all the best.